I love the fact that Jimmy Hart is a person who is a like. Did he really do anything of note while I was watching wrestling growing up, other than talk? Not really, but his talking was
that's what
important to me.
did.
Well, yeah, but like he didn't. I don't think he came up with. Well, yeah, I mean, look at the guy.
Yeah.
You know,
some people need somebody else to talk for them.
That's what
his job is.
He pushed some people pretty well.
Goldberg made a career of it.
Yeah, Goldberg could have used somebody talking for him.
No, the whole point of Goldberg was he was a silent killer. That was his whole character. He doesn't say anything other than "you're next." That is all he needs to say. That was what made Goldberg work. The minute he wasn't that, he was terrible and useless.
Well, I mean, how long after
Bret Hart's career?
Like wasn't he?
It's hard to give a face a manager. It's weird having a face with a manager.
That's fair.
How long was he at WCW before? Was he there? Was Goldberg there until the
end?
Till the bitter end.
Yeah, to the bitter end.
He was literally saving the company, and then Hulk Hogan wouldn't put him over. Basically, is what happened.
Well, wasn't he like?
Which is, if you want to know the story of WCW, somebody got big, and then Hulk Hogan or Kevin Nash wouldn't put them over. End of everything.
It was a lot of like they were putting guys that were popular and on like guaranteed contracts and spending a lot of money that ultimately they couldn't.
Well, they did make it. They did make it for like 1 year. They made all of it and then some, more than enough that like it basically made up for every loss they ever had, and then proceeded to lose that much the next year.
But yeah, but you were kind of starting off, Brett. Yeah, he was kind of for the how as it goes. People's general complaints with Goldberg and really the Power Plant in general, which was the WCW training school, was that they trained athletes, and there was a lot of like athletics and things like that, and people be getting into good shape and being able to do moves and things like that. But not as much work on safety and like on clean wrestling.
They didn't make good
was
wrestling.
The Power, was that run? Their whole like system run by what's his name? Big fat guy always hung out with Hulk Hogan.
Oh, okay.
Horace
Tackle. That makes sense.
WCW Power Plant. Horace Hogan, maybe. I don't know. It was a former wrestling school located at 1530 Carroll Drive in Atlanta, Georgia. It was owned and operated by World Championship Wrestling. The Power Plant was operation throughout the 90s. Stopped holding contests in December 1999. Closed in March 2001 when WCW assets, blah, blah, blah. It was used for training wrestlers.
I was thinking of something that was in like Fort Lauderdale or something. But yeah.
I mean, the number of good wrestlers that came out of there is vastly outweighed by the number of bad wrestlers. Some good guys came out of there. C.W. Anderson went through the Power Plant, although he had trained before, and he's a good wrestler. DDP is a good wrestler who went through there.
Hold on.
And that's about it.
Reading through, now we have made the point that Goldberg didn't really speak all that much, right? We can all agree on that?
Molly Holly was a trainer there. It's crazy.
Reading through Bill Goldberg's Wikipedia reads as he then started a feud with. Did Goldberg really start the feud? Really?
I mean, sometimes. So here's what you got to remember. Everything
Luger's talking more than Goldberg.
Yeah, and Luger wasn't a good talker either, but he also wasn't a good wrestler. He was maybe an adequate wrestler.
In my opinion, why I watched WCW in like that era was for a whole lot of this and not much else.
Yeah.
Let's be fair.
So I for that era, I would say I loved the cruiserweight division. Back then.
I was all about DDP.
I liked
cruiserweight. They did some shit,
but they had the cruiserweight division, and I was all over that. And no matter kind of even if the commentators kind of shit all over it, and it kind of made it not fun, but like I was watching all those cruiserweight matches. I was following those cruiserweight like rivalries. I remember the LWO, like that was late in there.
Yeah.
I remember all of those guys, El Dandy, those Villanos, Super Calo, fucking
Ultimo
Psychosis.
Dragon.
Ultimo Dragon was there. Psychosis. Fucking
L.A. Park.
Hooven too. Were you a Hoovy guy?
Well, he was La Parka.
You seem like you would be a Hoovy guy.
Hoovy's cool. And Chris Jericho.
I remember La Parka.
Chris Jericho. I fell in love with Chris Jericho while he was still in the cruiserweight division. I think going to like challenge for maybe I think it was the television title.
Jericho has had a weird ebb and flow to his career too.
He's doing his best work ever right now.
Yeah,
he's always like what's great about Jericho is that he never gets complacent.
He works really hard,
really oddly written. Let's be fair.
They were written, but he never got you. Could never say he was caught in a rut.
No.
And at no point
he'll
ever
go for it.
He doesn't change. If Chris Jericho is involved in a bad match, it ain't because of Chris Jericho.
Yeah, and he'll always try to refresh things because he never wants to get complacent. Even of a thing that worked earlier, he transitioned.
He recognizes that he will never be the Lionheart again. He just can't be because that was him when he was 23. So he is now.
I think it's less that and more that he knows that he can't get. I think it's just the lack of wanting to be complacent and the wanting to always innovate in a way. And
I also think for a wrestler, he isn't driven entirely by ego like a lot of guys are. No. He has one, but he's not. He does not have to win every match. He does not have to be the center of attention. He just wants to do good stuff when he's involved.
That's a lot of
chicken soup for the wrestling soul. That's a lot of you gotta want it.
But I remember that. I was probably one of the biggest Norman Smiley fans.
Norman Smiley is I'm so glad that guy found a life after wrestling.
He was a great wrestler, and I think
but
he was also fun. And
what was it the shake
wiggle
thingy, the big wiggle, yeah.
But I was a fan before he even started doing the big wiggle. But I remember I was always a fan of his wave power slam. He had this really cool power slam. He picked a guy up, so it went. And then did a down.
A scoop.
Is it like the one Matanza does? Like Jeff Cobb / Matanza does?
I haven't seen it. I gotta catch up. But
I got a GIF incoming.
Jeff Cobb's got this great power slam finisher that he does. It's like a reverse power slam because it instead of it being head first, it's leg first. I don't know what he calls it.
Oh, okay.
Also, if you're sleeping on Jeff Cobb as being arguably the best guy in the Indies, he is the suplex machine that WWE wishes Brock Lesnar was. Here.
Delayed scoop slam. It was like a.
I'm having talked about this and looking him up. I am glad one Alan Ray Sarvin is still getting work.
Oh, he calls it. Jeff Cobb calls it Tour of the Islands when it's him not under the mask.
Al Snow was one of the greatest gimmicks.
But he basically he grabs the guy he's going to do a power slam and then reverses it and does it. Okay. So instead of it being head first, it's leg first.
Yeah, no, it's different. Norman Smiley kind of goes.
What was Norman Smiley's called?
Smiley Slam.
Here, I've got a GIF of him doing it to a member of the Insane Clown Posse.
Oh no, that's a good power slam. I see what you're saying. It's just a body slam, but it's got some style to it, which was Norman Smiley. He was a quality worker with a little bit of style.
Yeah, he was fun. He was.
I enjoyed Norman Smiley.
He had a mustache that made him look like.
When you hear the way that people talk about him from the Performance Center, the people who he trained, they love him. They think he's Did you? If you get a chance, he was on Talk Is Jericho not that long ago, telling stories about his days in Mexico with Chris, because apparently he was a huge star in Mexico for a minute in like the early 90s, because of course he would be, because that's how it works. He was, I think he was like the super heel there. It was fun. Like most Americans.
He's very like, well, he's British. He's very British.
Oh yeah, he is British.
He's a British black guy. He's
like,
he's got a mustache that tells you're writing checks that your ass can't cash. And man, yeah, he's a completely different character than I remember him in some of these pictures I'm looking at. He was just a dude. I remember.
He was a dude, but he was a fun dude, and he was like. Sad.
I'm a dude.
Now you're a dude.
He was one of the most talented wrestler. Of who?
Lash LaRue.
Who was Lash LaRue?
So he was the redheaded dude from New Orleans, Louisiana.
Yes, he's Creole man.
He's Creole man, even though he was born in Oxford, Alabama. But he would do this. He had L's with his sideburns were shaved as L's, and he would like do like a trace them with his finger. And it was cool.
So you knew that they were L's on purpose.
Yeah, that's right. You gotta if you got a gimmick, you gotta
sell that gimmick.
You gotta display it on the moon.
Yeah. He was also a member of the Misfits in Action.
What do you think about the Hardys being with ROH for the foreseeable future? Because that's apparently what they're saying.
I didn't know about that, but
they basically said for the near future. I'm amazed. I'm happier because that means we get a couple more months of Broken Matt. Because WWE will fuck that up, and even though they're doing great stuff right now, they'll fuck that up. I'm figuring they want to be able to do the unlimited indie dates you can do with ROH that you can't do with TNA.
Yeah,
because I'm Matt Hardy's coming here for South by.
Yeah. If you could do that, I mean it's gonna be interesting.
I got one question that I like when it comes to wrestling gimmicks. At what point do they hand you a gimmick, and at what point are you like? Did you sit down on the toilet one day and be like, okay, what's not been done? Oh, I'm going to call myself Disco Inferno.
Where does Inferno handed to him? Also, he's one of the worst human beings.
He runs a strip club in Reno.
Yeah.
He's terrible.
What did you just say about living the gimmick?
Yeah.
He is still Disco Inferno, and he is still terrible.
I loved him in WCW, but it was just
really. I hated him. I hated him then.
I loved him, and I loved him in Alex Wright because it was so obnoxious but fun.
No, I'm sorry. He is a body. He is a bouncer at the Godfather strip club in Vegas.
Yes.
No, the best in terms of stuff, doing stuff after wrestling of WWE guys is definitely Buff Bagwell, who is a male gigolo now.
Yeah. Val Venus was the one.
Yeah, he's
the woman's pal
who was a porn star. He was kayfabe porn star.
Yeah. Otherwise, he was the American Sean Bean.
Porn.
Oh gosh, the Dudley Boys.
Me and Petey watched some of the best of A. Dudley. Playing in a Knights of Columbus to a crowd of at least 10.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Dreamwave?
No. We did watch Dreamwave. This was Northeast Illinois.
Hold on.
Dreamwave was Northeast Illinois.
It was that?
Yeah.
Okay.
The good one was Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. The
yeah.
one was Dreamwave Wrestling.
It wasn't bad. It just was.
Yeah.
You're talking about how 90s that picture is right now.
Yeah,
that's why. That's precisely why that episode was called the Mendoza line of indie wrestling.
Yeah,
that show was batting at 200.
Yeah, that was. Although there was some like casual, yeah, there's some weird shit going on there, and I was being more entertained by looking at the people in the crowd at some points, and I will always remember that. I've got that somewhere hanging out on my hard drive. I might have to go back and watch that episode again. Just to see the
Snow picture that you shared, or
I was talking about the 90s being Scotty Too Hottie.
I didn't see it. I don't know. For some reason, oh wait, no, I have to scroll down.
Is that not the most 90s thing in the world?
I can't see it. For some reason,
Scotty Too Hottie with a Kangol fuzzy visor with spiked bleached blonde hair.
That's very late 90s.
Holy shit, that is.
And it's also the shirt is
apparently
also
in 2013 he became a firefighter.
3 count.
So good. Oh my god, D'Lo Brown. I forgot about D'Lo Brown.
Yeah, he broke Darren Drozdov's neck and then sort of disappeared.
He had an after which
it was not on purpose. It was a bad incident,
it was a fluke accident, and he felt terrible, and it was like
I don't blame D'Lo Brown for that. Neither does Droz, apparently.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. Like he's.
It's when you're literally throwing each other around a ring, accidents they tend to happen.
Speaking of which, did you hear about Hanma, PD?
Yeah, I'm still like Hanma
he's one of my favorite guys in New Japan.
He's a beautiful human being, and I hate the idea that he got hurt.
All the news I've seen is like he's okay, but who knows if he'll ever be back.
It could have been a bad stinger, and he's 40 years old. He's Japanese. So
he better live for goddamn ever. I can't deal with that, man. He was one of my favorite things about New Japan. Yeah. Like when I watch it, I like Hanma. He is everything right with the universe.
Yeah. But he's likely had a little bit of a rougher life before wrestling or during wrestling. Because he's just like, you can probably hear it in his voice that at some point somebody's fucked up his throat. You can hear it in his voice, but and there's probably in a kind of a fight. But yeah, he's just.
I'm ready to pop over here. This is. I'm digging deeper into the rabbit hole.
All right, enough of our pro wrestling pre-show.
Well. I sent my buddy something, and his response was beautiful. I sent him he said, "I'm not sure how you keep making these connections, but Lord, I wish you would stop." So,
wait, what was the connection you made?
It's between Sonic the Hedgehog and Hulk Hogan. I'll just leave it at that. I still have no idea. People they didn't have like samples on tapes back then that you can just be like,
which one came out first?
Sonic.
Was it? Okay.
Yes.
Which makes even less sense. They were recorded on different coasts. But yeah.
Yes.